came to the rescue of the 83rd ARVN Ranger Battalion. The 83rd Battalion was on the Cambodian border, and the 5th North Vietnamese Infantry Division massed on the other side of the border. They attacked with sappers who came in and actually overran part of the camp. There were 420 ARVN Rangers, and the Rangers fought back. They drove the sappers out of the camp, and then for the next month, the entire North Vietnamese division continued attacking, trying to overwhelm the Rangers. And they used a very deceptive tactic where they would come right up to the Cambodian border. And they knew that we would not cross the Cambodian border, so then they would create a funnel that was ambushed so that anybody coming in to rescue had to go through the ambush site. The government of South Vietnam began to send rangers in, battalions, ranger groups, large groups of rangers, and they went into this terrible killing ground where many of them were killed or driven back by the ambushes. Finally, they called on General Coy. General Coy commanded the largest armored task force of the entire Vietnam War. He did an aerial reconnaissance, and he realized that on the Cambodian side of the border, there was an opportunity to use armored forces. And so he went to President Tu, who was a very fine president, a very wise man, and he said, I have to be able to cross the border. And he was given permission to cross the border, and he did a very skillful battle where in the middle of the night, the entire armored task force crossed the river on rubber boats, and they were totally undetected. They went around behind the North Vietnamese division, and they attacked its command group and took it totally by surprise. When they did, the command group was destroyed, the 5th Division disintegrated, and they were able to attack and destroy. They killed thousands of North Vietnamese soldiers as they retreated, and the 5th Infantry Division of the North Vietnamese Army never was a fighting force for the remainder of the war. These were the kinds of victories being scored by the South Vietnamese Army. Sadly, in 1974, the sympathizers of the communists within the United States Congress began to gain power. They forced President Richard Nixon from office. He had been a very stalwart supporter of the Vietnamese people, and when he left office, then the communist supporters began to restrict the supplies. They finally cut off the fuel, they cut off the ammunition, they cut off the equipment, they even cut off medical supplies. And so the Vietnamese were left with very little to fight with. I've spoken to a tank battalion commander who said that his tankers were sent out with 1 shell and 5 gallons of fuel. I've spoken to artillery commanders who were given 3 shells a day to fire. They had almost nothing. The troops had a handful of bullets to shoot. And so it became apparent. The soldiers in the field realized that there was nothing to fight for. And even the bravest soldiers, I don't care what nation they're from, if they have nothing to fight with, then the war is over. And this is how the war ended. It did not win, it did not end because of the courage of the North Vietnamese communists. It ended because of the betrayal of the South Vietnamese who fought and who who struggled for their land. So we recorded this history of the gallantry of the Vietnamese, and the other thing that we recorded was what happened afterwards. The sympathizers in the United States had said that when Ho Chi Minh won, there would be a people's paradise. And so we watched to see what would happen. Well, immediately there was a mass slaughter that took place all over the country. I spoke with one of the 12 wise men, and he told me how in his village, which was a Christian village, they ran down the Catholic priest, and they took him out in the middle of the square, and they burned him alive as a message to everyone that you had better not convert to Christianity. These were the types of things that they did. They put 1 million Vietnamese soldiers and even women into concentration camps. They called them re-education camps, but no one was educated. People were tortured. People were re-education. What kind of education is it when 1/3 of all of the people sent to the concentration camps died while they were there? Yes. These were like the Nazi concentration camps, and this was happening all over Vietnam. To me, some people would say, well, was this a war that was a good cause? Was it a just cause? And to me, the answer is what happened afterwards. At the end of the war, there were 2 million Vietnamese who went out to the ocean, and they got small boats, sampans, not large boats many times, and they set out on the vastness of the South China Sea to escape the communists. Hundreds of thousands of them died. Many were drowned. Many were attacked by pirates who were encouraged by the North Vietnamese to prey on the people who were fleeing. They would take over, they would steal, they would murder people, they would rape the women, rape the children. They were utterly cruel. And so while we often look to elections, we say, well, how did this election turn out? How did people vote? It's one thing to vote with a piece of paper, but it's another thing to vote with your life. 2 million Vietnamese voted with their lives. They took their lives and they said, we cannot face the bloodbath and the horror that will face Vietnam when the communists take over. And they fled the country for 10 years. For 10 years they continued to flee. Now, it was a great blessing in that we were able to evacuate about 125,000 Vietnamese when the war ended. Many of them came here to Orange County, California, and some came to my area in the Washington, D.C. area, some in Texas. And there they have really thrived. They've been prosperous. They've been happy. They form businesses. They're free. I noticed the signs around here. There are Vietnamese who are running for election.
Yes.
The mayor of the city was Vietnamese.
Yes.
The councilman was Vietnamese last night.
Yes.
So the Vietnamese here, they're wealthy, they're prosperous, they're happy. They control their destiny. So you compare that with what has happened in Vietnam, where the People's Paradise was supposed to take over, and the People's Paradise has kept people down. It's suppressed them, and the people have not been able to prosper. They live in primitive conditions still. And my hope is that this resolution that we created will make its way throughout the world so that Vietnamese everywhere will know the truth of what happened. Not the propaganda, but the actual facts that occurred. And they can verify these in history books. And you just have to put it all together and say, yes, why would 2 million people flee the people's paradise if it was truly a people's paradise? So my hope, I have spent countless hours patrolling back in the deep parts of the jungles and the rice paddies and by the villages of Vietnam, and I know that the children in Vietnam are being taught that their ancestors fought for a bad cause, or that they were cowards, or that they were bad fighters. And it's my hope that this resolution will find its way into Vietnam, that it'll be kept by people. And I have this vision that I've had since the very beginning, yes, of a grandfather who goes to his son who's out pulling the rice in the paddies, and he says, "Here, you come with me. I have something to show you." And he takes him back to the hut, and in a secret compartment in the bamboo he pulls something open, and he has a paper, and he says, "I want you to read this." And he gives it to his son or his grandson, and his grandson reads. And he sees the truth of what his grandfather did when he fought for the Republic of Vietnam. And he looks at it, and he sees the facts, and he sees that the government of the state of Virginia, near the capital of Washington, D.C., in America, has set forth this history. And he says, "I knew it. I knew my grandfather was a hero. I know from his character that he's not this man that they taught us that he was. And I know that he would not fight unless he was fighting for the people, fighting for freedom, fighting for his nation." And that's my dream.
Right. Senator Dick Black. Millions of American and Vietnamese soldiers and people have sacrificed their life for freedom, democracy, and human rights against the invasion of communists. Now, instead of your glorification declaration, do you think that those passed away heroes are wanting to urge the responsibility of the United States regarding the sort and the situation of the anti-communist nation and people of Vietnam?
I think that the American veterans who fought over there have a great love for Vietnam. They have a great respect for the Vietnamese, because many of them, like myself, fought side by side with the Vietnamese. I had a Vietnamese soldier who was shot and fell two lengths from you to me, very close, and so many experiences that I've had with the Vietnamese in battle. We sacrificed a great deal. We brought many back who were dead. For every American who died to fight for Vietnam, 4 Vietnamese, 4 soldiers of the Republic of Vietnam fought and died also. So the biggest burden of the war was borne not by Americans, not by foreigners, but by the South Vietnamese themselves, trying to defend their nation. And I believe that everyone would be happy to see communism disappear from Vietnam.
Yes.
Yes.
Senator Dick Black referred the International Final Act of Paris in March 2nd, 1973, and the similar situation of Vietnam and Ukraine, as well as refer to a Foreign Aid Act of the USA Senate in 1974. Now we are fighting for and urging for our self-determination of our Vietnamese people against the invasion and domination of the communists. Thus, what the United States and the free world country and ONU can do for Vietnam, like they are helping Ukraine people against Russia.
Well, I'm not sure that there is an initiative right now to help the people of Vietnam. It seems to me that the first thing that we must accomplish is to bring the truth to the people of Vietnam. It's been many years. Saigon fell in 1975, and so there has been nothing but propaganda, nothing but lies since 1975. And I think it's important, first, that the truth reach Vietnam, so that the truth can begin to sink in and people say, I understand now, I'm beginning to understand how bad this government is and how much damage it's doing to the people there. Perhaps when that happens, we'll see more effort from the U.S. government. But in the meantime, it's my hope that other states will begin to pass similar resolutions with similar language so that we preserve the history. It's very important that we preserve the history and we cut through all of the propaganda that was used right at the end of the war.
Well, Senator Dick Black, would you strongly believe that the media is an important and powerful tool in the effort of fighting to gain political freedom, peace, and establish democracy for the Republic of Vietnam, and against the Communist Party, as it exposed the cruelty of the Communist Party?
Yes, well, and beginning with your show
Yes.
and the wonderful work that you've done, since I've been out here in Orange County, I have been amazed at how vibrant the Vietnamese media is. The television, the newspapers, actually much more vibrant than the American news media itself. And I think it's because of the freedom that the Vietnamese have here and their creativity, their entrepreneurial ability. Just seeing what you've accomplished here with your news station,
Yes.
the very heroic effort on your part. I don't know when I've done so many interviews as I did with the Vietnamese press here in America, here in Orange County, California. So it's enormously important. Every change begins with an idea, and the idea is more powerful than governments. It's more powerful than armies. And I think what you're doing here is you're beginning to plant the idea of freedom. And I hope that that will grow and grow and eventually prevail.
And I think that's all the questions, right? So on the behalf of the Diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, we thank you for being a great ally to us in trying to preserve our ideal of freedom for Vietnam. We hope that you will continue to fight with us, with the Senate Resolution JR 455 being a blow to the Communist Party. In honoring the bravery, heroism, and sacrifice of the Vietnamese veteran and the true history of the war, we constantly strive to find a solution in helping our beloved country gain political freedom and establish democracy in which its people can stand as one in making Vietnam a better place. We thank you for being one of our biggest supporters. In this effort, we value your contribution thus far and your perseverance in maintaining that fight for freedom for the Republic of Vietnam. We are extremely proud to have you here and along with us to honor our veterans. It is a reminder to our community to continue this effort and not let their sacrifice be unfruitful, right?
Yes, and I just finally like to say what a great honor it has been to be out here with you. I was I was a lowly lieutenant, a second lieutenant in the Marines when I came to Vietnam, and I've had the great honor of being in the presence of people like you who have done so much, and you know, the people who were generals and admirals and senators and people like that back when I was really just a boy. And so I'm very thankful, I'm very grateful to you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show.
We love to have you on Diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng hòa. Yes. And here is the gift for with the armies that they want you to have.
In the battlefield,
Yes.
1971.
Yes.
The communist attack.
Do you recognize that? You recognize that?
Artillery base.
Yes.
Colonel Smith and General White,
I see.
battalion command.
Uh-huh.
Me.
You were the battalion
Yeah.
commander.
Yeah.
You see, I'm with people who are so much higher than me. I was
And
just,
this, the communist lose.
yes.
We win.
Well, I'm not surprised, knowing you as I do. I've met many heroes, many heroes.
And you
And,
see, there's this picture. In this time, 1973, we have nothing to fight.
Yes, yes. Well,
Có tiếng Anh đâu.
I don't suppose that will show on the camera,
Có
but
tiếng Anh.
it shows there's a very hard, strong-looking Vietnamese soldier right here.
You see our command, General Hưng. He killed himself.
Yes, yes, rather than surrender.
Exactly.
Yes, I had decided I'm not going to be captured, and I was a forward air controller controlling the bombs, and when we would go off the ridge line at Nui Lak Son,
Yeah.
I would sometimes go with just a squad, because I didn't want them to get caught out there where they'd be overwhelmed and run out of ammunition, and I just decided if that happens, if we run out of ammunition and we're pinned down and we can't get out, then the final attack will be a wave of jets that will come in and drop bombs right where we are, and we may die, but they'll die with us. That was
And
that
this
was the
picture,
plan.
Our Vietnamese military academy, like Westmont Academy here.
Yes.
Colonel? These are colonel.
Tướng lãnh rồi, general.
And you can look at the faces of
General
the,
Thiệu.
you can look at the faces of the soldiers.
Yes.
So you can tell the quality
Yeah.
of soldiers. If you've been around, you can
Yes.
tell the quality of a soldier by his appearance.
Only me alive. Die.
Well, look at those soldiers.
Yes.
Their face, they still fighting. See, they still fight. They don't
Yes.
quit.
Yes, you never
Yeah.
quit.
They
Yeah.
never quit. Yes. And these are the five. What
General.
general that
General.
has sacrificed their life for freedom in the 30th.
30 tháng 4
Yes.
75.
Yes, these are the five heroes that that gave their lives at the end, rather than surrender. They
Yes.
death before surrender,
Yes.
and I'm very honored at their sacrifice. And I will tell you, I was prepared to die for the freedom of South Vietnam,
Oh,
and would have been proud to stand beside them.
wow.
So.
That's very touching. Your word is very touching.
Mình còn thoát nữa không?
Yeah. And is any more that you want to say to our audience before we still have 4 more minutes?
Well, I just, you know, I'll mention something that happened when I was coming out here. I talked to my son, who's a carpenter, and I told him why I was coming out. And he said, "You know, Dad," he said, "I work with a Vietnamese man in my carpenter shop." And he told me how he lived in North Vietnam, And one day, the army just came through the village and murdered everyone, the men, women, children, old people. And he was just a teenage boy, and he was shot through the chest. And it was a miracle shot that didn't cut any arteries or nerves or anything, and he was able to keep running. But the bullet went in the front and out the back, and my son has seen him with his shirt off, and he has big scar tissue in the front and the back where the bullet went through. And why were they killing him? Perhaps they wanted to take over the land. When Ho Chi Minh took over North Vietnam, he killed 175,000 innocent people just so that he could steal their land. And something else that people need to know, that people don't know about Ho Chi Minh, he signed a secret treaty with China to give away islands belonging to the Vietnamese people, islands that throughout history had always been part of Vietnam. But Ho Chi Minh was willing to deceive and to steal from the Vietnamese heritage and betray the people. And so now the Chinese say, look, these are our islands. They were given us by Ho Chi Minh. We can take them away.
Yes.
This is the character of this man. The people that I fought with, people like you, you would never have given away part of Vietnam
Yes.
to a foreign power.
Yes.
You wouldn't do this.
Thank you very much. Kính thưa quý vị khán thính giả, kính thưa quý chiến hữu, quý niên trưởng và cùng toàn thể đồng hương. Trong cái buổi talk show đặc biệt hôm nay, kính thưa quý vị, thượng nghị sĩ Dick Black đã cho chúng tôi có cái vinh hạnh là được đón tiếp ông tại diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, và ông nói rằng ông vẫn còn một cái tấm lòng của một người chiến binh quân Hoa Kỳ đã từng sát cánh chiến đấu với người chiến sĩ Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa. Và ngày hôm nay, trước cái công cuộc đấu tranh mới của chúng ta, tiếp tục cuộc đấu tranh này đến một ngày mà đất nước dân tộc của chúng ta được độc lập, tự do cũng như toàn vẹn lãnh thổ, thì ông luôn sát cánh với Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa trong công cuộc đấu tranh chung này. Kính thưa quý vị, đó là một cái ý nghĩa cũng như một cái tấm lòng rất tốt đẹp của ông Dick Black đã đến với toàn thể quý niên trưởng cũng như chiến hữu, cũng như đồng hương, và nhất là người Việt tị nạn cộng sản của chúng ta. Và kính thưa quý vị, trong cái chương trình talk show hôm nay thì thưa niên trưởng Truyền có ý kiến gì? Xin mời niên trưởng.
Kính thưa quý niên trưởng, quý bậc trưởng thượng, quý đồng hương, quân dân cán chính Việt Nam Cộng Hòa. Kính thưa thượng nghị sĩ Dick Black. Và hôm qua thượng nghị sĩ thấy trong cái bữa tiệc chúng tôi đón mừng ông là có rất nhiều anh em quân nhân, trong đó có tướng lãnh, có đồng hương chúng tôi là đại tá, từng là tham mưu trưởng, từng là cấp chỉ huy quân đội, và tất cả đó toàn là những cấp chỉ huy quân đội. Nếu nghe những cái lời của thượng nghị sĩ vừa nói, cũng như tất cả cái cuộc nói chuyện hôm nay, thì nếu đồng bào chúng tôi ở trong và ngoài nước nghe được cái lời của thượng nghị sĩ, thì đồng bào tôi sẽ quý mến và thương kính trọng thượng nghị sĩ như thế nào. Vô cùng.
He said that,
Chúng tôi
like from the party yesterday, the event yesterday, every word that you know has said is really touching to everyone, especially in my country, because with our TV show, it's gonna go international
Yes.
on our website,
chúng tôi
and which we want everyone to know that there's still someone still believe in what we are doing now, and with the support
chúng
of the
tôi
media
chúc
that
thượng nghị
we
sĩ
really
được
really
thăng
need it.
tiến trên con đường phục vụ nước Mỹ và giúp chúng tôi tranh đấu cho tự do, dân chủ, nhân quyền, cơm no ấm tại quê nhà của chúng tôi. Trong tất cả những xúc động, chúng tôi xin chân thành cảm ơn thượng nghị sĩ và chúc thượng nghị sĩ được mọi sự tốt đẹp.
Dạ, cảm ơn ý kiến của Niên trưởng Lê Nguyễn Thiện Truyền. Xin mời phu nhân có ý kiến gì không?
Dạ,
Còn một ít phút cuối.
Hết rồi. Hết phút rồi.
Không sao đâu. Có thể mình...
Để xin điểm trợ nữa. Dạ.
Ok.
Và theo như ông Dick Black agree that this is this is the best way, right? We need the media, right?
Yes,
So
the media
please,
is
have
the
some
key
word.
to everything.
Yes, so we need support.
Okay.
Could you say some word with our audience? You know that this, you know.
yes, sir.
Oh, well, there's no doubt that the media is the key to changing things in Vietnam. As long as people hear nothing but propaganda, then they'll never know the truth. And there's such vibrance in the media coming out of Orange County, especially.
Yes.
And so maybe from this studio here,
Yes.
we can begin a rebirth of Vietnam and freedom.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we need
Thank
your
you.
support, please. Anh
Yeah.
nói
Rất
cho
là
cái sự yểm trợ
dạ,
rất là
rất là
cần
cảm
thiết
ơn
để
ông thượng nghị
tiếp tục
sĩ
cái
Dick
diễn
Black
đàn.
hôm nay trên diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa. Kính thưa quý niên trưởng, quý chiến hữu cũng như đồng hương, ông cũng có ngỏ lời kêu gọi quý đồng hương người Việt của chúng ta, nhất là anh em Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa cũng như các cái tập thể người Việt quốc gia tị nạn cộng sản hãy yểm trợ cho diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa để cái tiếng nói của người lính được duy trì. Và ông cũng nói rằng trong cái cuộc đấu tranh này chúng ta cần phải có một cái hệ thống truyền hình, tức là media, thì chúng ta mới có thể chiến đấu được với kẻ thù. Và kính thưa quý vị, đây là những phút cuối cùng của buổi talk show đặc biệt này. Chúng tôi xin kính mời quý vị gửi lời chào quý vị khán thính giả của diễn đàn Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, và xin kính mời ông thượng nghị sĩ Dick Black gửi lời chào quý vị khán
Goodbye
giả.
to my audience.
Oh, well, I thank all of you for inviting me here.
Yeah.
You're all very distinguished people, each one of you. And so I say goodbye to the audience. Thank you for listening. And I encourage you to provide support to this channel because it's essential to freedom.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.